G'day there Flow friends, we're back for another bike review today. This time we're looking at the Polygon Collosus TLE. Polygon have a wide range of bikes, but this is their very first SL e-MTB. Let's dive into it to see how it played out on the trails. The TLE is the latest addition to the Collosus family. We now have non-powered Collosus models, full-powered e-MTB versions, and this new SL version. Whilst they share the same family name under the Collosus banner, they all have quite different features and ride characteristics. The TLE also has the IFS suspension layout. We saw this on the non-powered Collosus that we reviewed, which is their hard-hitting enduro bike. The Collosus TLE we have here has 140 mils of rear travel paired with 160 mil fork. It rolls on 29er wheels front and back. It's not mullet compatible, so it's monster trucking all day long with this one. The geo is quite aggressive, making it a very capable trail bike. It's on the heavier side for a low-powered e-MTB, coming in at 20.2 kilograms. That is set up tubeless and without pedals. A little more on that as we get into ride characteristics later on in the video. But now quickly looking at pricing, the model I tested was the TLE 8, which comes in at 8,999 Aussie dollars. Polygon have opted for a Bosch drive unit with the TLE. They have put the SX motor into this one, which is Bosch's lightweight e-MTB system. This drive unit delivers 55 Newton meters of torque and is paired with a fully integrated 400 watt-hour battery. For those looking to extend their ride, the Bosch PowerMore 250 watt-hour range extender is actually included with all Collosus TLE models. This is a great value add as this normally costs an extra $850. The range extender is something I use quite a lot during testing and found it really useful to have. Overall, this drive unit performed great throughout the review period. It is a reliable system and it has great range in the power delivery options. Will, our lead tech editor, has put a specific review together for the Bosch SX drive unit. If you'd like to check that out in more detail, I'll put the link in the description. Let's take a look at the geometry and the sizing of the Collosus TLE. I've been testing the Collosus TLE in the size large, which has a 481 millimeter reach, and I'm 179 centimeters for reference. It has a 450 millimeter chainstay, and that rear center length is found across all four sizes in the range. There are four sizes available: small, medium, large, and extra large. The small has a reach of 435 millimeters, while the extra large stretches out to 501 millimeters. The long rear center lengths, modern reach numbers, and 64-degree head angle all make for an aggressive trail bike, which I found rides beyond its 140 mils of rear travel. If you put the motor aside and compare it to popular non-powered trail bikes like the Specialized Stump Jumper, Santa Cruz Hightower, and the Norco Sight, the Collosus TLE has a longer wheelbase than all of these bikes in similar sizes. This shows that this bike has been designed to be really stable, and I found that to be true once I got it out on the trail. Speaking of ride characteristics, let's take a closer look at how it performed. I have to admit, I judged a book by its cover with this one. When I first looked at the spec sheet and saw 140 mils of rear travel, I wasn't expecting it to perform the way that it does. It descends well beyond what I typically expect from a bike in this travel range. I mentioned the long wheelbase and chainstays already, but both of those play a significant part in the planted feel that this bike provides. The 64-degree head angle is slack, but not so much that it impacts the handling on flatter and slower terrain. It strikes a great balance, making it a capable all-rounder. While the 140 mils of rear travel doesn't hold you back for general trail riding, I'd still classify it as a trail bike rather than an enduro smashing machine. It does flirt with the enduro world with the 160 millimeter fork, which I found to be a great match with this bike. It kept the front end high and contributed to the bike's overall stability. There's not much I can fault about this bike on the descents. It was a lot of fun to ride, but there is one little thing I'd love to see. If it could get a little bit lighter, that would be amazing. For an SLE bike with 140 mils of travel, generally we like to see these bikes being a little bit lighter if possible. And this one comes in at 20.2 kilograms. Similar bikes in this genre can dip down to around 18 kilograms and tend to feel a lot more like a regular non-powered bike when descending. From my experience, as a general rule, when e-MTBs get over 20 kilograms, you do start to notice the weight at times. Not quite like a full e-MTB, but you notice it's definitely there. When we talk about climbing on an e-mountain bike, a lot of that is impacted by the drive unit. I found the Bosch SX drive unit to offer quite a wide range of power delivery, which is quite useful when you're riding an SL bike. The Bosch SX drive unit allows for a lot of rider input if you wish, especially in eco mode. You can dial back the tuning on that, and when you do this, it essentially offsets the bike's weight, making it feel much like a regular bike. I found this to be useful when riding with mates that are on non-powered bikes or when I just wanted to go for a more fitness-focused ride. However, on the other end of the scale, the turbo mode on the SX drive unit actually does pack quite a bit of punch. That said, you do need to spin at a relatively high cadence to get the most out of the motor's output. For me, I ended up tuning the turbo to the +5 setting to maximize the support I got out of this system when I really needed it. But for most of the time, I rode in the two middle power settings, e-MTB and the tour mode. These two middle modes, as you would expect, strike the best balance between power output and battery saving, as it conserves the power output when you don't need it and ramps it up as the cadence increases. I'm going to quickly talk about the component highs and lows with this one. For the most part, it has been spec'd appropriately for its intended use and price point. However, there are a couple of things I'd like to change. Starting with the positives, the Marzocchi suspension was a standout. For those of you that don't know, Marzocchi sits under the Fox umbrella. So while it's the more budget-friendly option, you still benefit from a lot of the shared technology. The main trade-off is adjustability. This suspension setup only has a single rebound and compression dial, whereas the higher-end Fox stuff is often four-way adjustable. However, in terms of overall ride feel and performance, surprisingly, I found that it's not as far off the higher end Fox stuff as I expected it to be. Don't get me wrong here, the Fox stuff definitely has some great benefits, but this is really solid and great performing suspension. The GXT type drivetrain was another strong point. I've had consistently good experiences with this group set across multiple bikes. It offers a balance between affordability, modern features, and solid performance. The Magura MT7 brakes provided a bit of a love-hate relationship. It started out a little bit rocky, but drastically improved throughout the testing period. After just a couple of rides, the rear brake failed, pulling straight to the bar without providing any stopping power at all. It turned out to be a faulty lever that allowed fluid to bypass the piston, preventing the system from holding any pressure. However, once this was sorted, the brakes performed really well, which is a must given the extra weight of e-mountain bikes. Now looking at some of the things they could improve with the TLE spec. I found that the stock tyres didn't quite suit this bike. The casing felt too light and the rubber compound was too firm. A more enduro and aggressive trail focused casing paired with Schwalbe's soft or super soft compound would have been a far better match. There were definitely a few sketchy moments on the stock tyres. I also found that some of the frame finishing touches could be tidied up a little bit. Early on in the testing period, the charging port cover came off. The chainstay protector also came unstuck not long after that. The integrated bottle cage and range extender system is super quick and easy to use, allowing you to swap between a water bottle holder and the range extender. My only gripe with this is it's quite noisy. It rattles quite a bit on rougher trails, which will annoy some people that like really quiet bikes. Wrapping things up here, I have to say I've been impressed with Polygon's first attempt at an SLE mountain bike. They've opted for a reliable drive unit in the Bosch SX system, and the geometry and the spec of the bike are well suited. I'd comfortably recommend this bike to almost all riders. However, if you are someone who's looking for an e-mountain bike to self-shuttle on downhill tracks or burly enduro tracks, the 140 mils of travel probably isn't enough if you are regularly riding really burly trails. In saying that, it can definitely dance with some burlier terrain, but overall it is a great all-round trail rig. It could be a little bit big for some riders that are looking for the size small with the 450mm rear center lengths, and there's no mixed wheel compatibility, which could be a deal breaker for some. The TLE 8 I tested offers solid value. It's well priced, if not more affordable than many similar spec'd bikes on the market. I hope this video has been helpful, and if you want to check out the full review, the link for that is in the description below. If this bike's on your radar, let us know in the comments. And other than that, we'll see you out on the trails.